Julie, thanks so much. Coach, always a pleasure to be here talking ball with you. So one thing that sticks out to me about the Giants is they want to run the football on first, second down, right?
Yes,
and if you can stop them on first, second down, you get them right where you want them from a pass rushing standpoint. But people don't understand all the stuff that goes into stopping the run, I think, right? So let's take a look at this play. This is a counter play here. They're going to pull this guard, try to kick out the end, going to bring the tight end back. And then this little tight end here is going to motion across the formation. And this is a nice little trick, a nice little wrinkle by them, this kind of easy release to the secondary to influence the end. But I love what you did here. Get a nice little blitz called or a run stunt called that allows the defensive end, Smith Williams, to blow up this guard. And that's a nice physical down there because they're trying to open up a gap right here, Coach.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, it just happened so that we're running pressure right into the play.
Yeah.
Great call by Jack. And again, even better operation by our guys. Again,
Yeah.
James Smith-Williams getting down inside, spilling it,
Yep.
so it makes the ball bounce and it doesn't
Yeah.
get to go downhill like
Yeah.
they want it to.
Yeah, because they want to hit this ball right down this A gap, and there is doesn't look like there's a lot of air there. You got guys doing good stuff. I think you pointed out Bostic
Yes.
earlier, right? Bostic does a nice job, and I don't know a lot about linebacker play, Coach, so talk us through what's going on.
Well, what I like is JB knows he's going to try and pin him, so he's going to work over the top, give him a little head fake inside, swim him. But the guy that really helps to make this play, other than James Smith, also, though, is Jamin. Jamin gets a quick read and gets flat, and because he gets flat, he takes all the air out of the play and forces the play
Right.
to stay inside where all the traffic is.
Right, and I think also, you got to point out the guys inside too, guys like, Ridgeway, guys like Allen, guys who are, again, kind of holding their gaps, making sure that there's nowhere to go with the football.
Well, I love the fact how Ridgeway plays big and burly. He holds that point, he holds the point,
Yep.
okay, and then he gets off and tries to get in on the tackle.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need some guys who are big and burly in there, being big and nasty. And again, here's another one. They're going to run a little outside zone this way with the backer. It's a kind of a version of outside zone. They're going to pull this center, kind of try to get to your edge here. You bring a little stunt with Cam curl off the edge, Sweat stunts inside. And what I love about this stunt, Coach, is that he doesn't just go flat and get lost in it. He stunts and then gets vertical into the defense, knocks the center off, right, and then allows the ball to get back to Payne, who again is just been almost unblockable over this season so far.
The key you said right there is Montez gets vertical.
Yep.
If he had continued to go flat, because that's the easy way,
Yeah.
what happens now is that center gets a chance to log over the
him,
top
yeah.
of him, and he has a chance to kick it out. That ball could bounce to the edge, but because he gets vertical, knocks the center off, and then Cam does a nice job of beating his blocker, he's now in position to force this ball to stay where all the defensive traffic is.
Yeah, I love that. And again, it's a mindset, it's a physicality, right? And like people say, oh, we got to rush the passer, we got to rush the passer. You got to do this stuff first. And I think this is a good I think indicator of where this defensive front is at, because you get John, who has been playing back door a little bit, and it's worked really well for him.
Yes.
But sometimes on outside zone, again, when the back's running out here to the ghost tight end area, like you get caught. But sometimes you need your buddies to help you out when you're playing that way. I love how Ridgeway plays across, and then Cam Curl, Coach. You can't say enough good things about him.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, one nice thing about what JR did was, again, he felt the pressure, he felt the block, and understood what he had to do was he had to work back to his right.
Yeah.
Why? Because Jonathan, hey, he took a little bit of a chance, and sometimes you make plays, sometimes you don't. But when you got guys covering up for you, that's awesome. But again, nice fit by Cam Curl, understanding where he needs to be, where he needs to fit on this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice when you get a safety coach who can play a linebacker, play post, because it gives you some flexibility here to make these things. And the reason you grind on these first and second down runs, Coach, is so you can get them in these third down situations. Because I think this group is a solid group, but they do struggle in drop back pass protection, right? A lot of teams do. It's not an indictment of them. But I think these types of matchups are things that you want to see. They favor you here as the Commanders, and I think Payne does an excellent job of exploiting this rush and putting this team in a bad situation.
Absolutely. But again, this goes back to what we talked about earlier in the season, that is the rush working together. Watch what Casey Toohill does. He gets to the quarterback depth. Instead of getting washed over the top, he now drops anchor and starts to squeeze. That doesn't allow Daniel Jones to get the edge.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden you see Duran, who made the great inside move, get the sack.
Yeah, and Coach, that's something that I watch this play a whole bunch. You don't notice that type of stuff. You don't notice these kind of players working together, helping these guys make this type of play. Coach, I'm really excited. I think you guys are going to have an excellent outing in terms of stopping the run, and I can't wait to see a whole bunch of sacks by this group.
All right.
Got the New York Giants for a second time. Little unusual having a team this close in close proximity. I think it's the first time in like 100 years that this has happened. But how does your game plan change? How does your approach change going to a team that you just played so recently?
Well, the fortunate thing for us, obviously, is we played them 2 weeks ago, got our bye, and now we're ready to play them again. And the big thing for us, obviously, is we had a chance to go back and look at the things that we did well and how we can improve upon those, and then the things that they did well against us and how we can counter it. So going into this game, again, breaking things down, getting a chance to watch their Philly game, there are a couple things that stood out that we really wanted to pay attention to.
Yeah, so a couple of things that I saw, Coach. You know, when I look at this offense, I see it's Daniel Jones kind of or bust. They're not running the ball as well. It's really him on keepers, him on quarterback keeps, him on play action passes. How do you account for him as a runner and kind of mitigate what makes him so effective?
Well, you know, the big thing is, and again, I agree with you about the running portion of it, got to be able to handle Saquon.
Yep.
But the thing to it, though, is, again, if you're shutting him down, now you got to pay attention to the quarterback.
Yep.
And, again, if they're successful, their play-action game comes into play. So we've got to be disciplined. That's the first and foremost thing you have to do. You have to be disciplined, especially when he keeps the ball.
And here, this is not an example of what it means to be disciplined, Coach. Why does this play hit against Philadelphia right here?
Because the corner coming down as late support takes his eyes off of the play.
Yeah.
Okay, he's assuming that the ball's being handed off on the inside,
right,
and that's being taken care of. All of a sudden, the realization that, oh, he's got the ball, and before you know it, Daniel's around the corner more so than anything else.
Yeah, because when you look at this, they're gapped out. Everything should be good. Yep. They've got this safety pressure off the edge. It should be kind of a dead play for the quarterback if this corner fits it correctly, and it just shows you how, when you're stopping a quarterback run, everybody's involved. Corners, safeties, everybody.
That's the thing about whether you're running, the RPOs and the quarterback decides to keep the ball and run, on the zone reach, you have to be responsible for him. Somebody has to, right? Now, because all 11 guys are involved in the play.
Yeah.
Okay, typically, once he hands the ball off, it's 11 against 10.
Yes, right.
Okay, because the quarterback usually gets out of the way. Here, because he keeps the ball on the zone read, what happens now is all 11 guys are in play. That means as you funnel it down to the finite point, as you pointed out, safety's coming off the edge, the corner's replacing, the corner's the guy that's now responsible for the quarterback.
Yeah, and this has to be pretty frustrating for the Philly defensive coaches, I would think, right? Because it's designed. The design is there, just the execution falls short.
Absolutely, the design was perfect. They brought pressure.
Yeah.
If they had handed the ball off, they're going to get a tackle for a loss. If the quarterback keeps it and everybody plays their assignment and is disciplined, they can stop this play for a loss as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think, obviously him as a runner is a big deal, and I think that to me is maybe the biggest key in the game. But another thing that really shows up a lot for them is the pressure packages that Wink Martindale brings, right? He brings a ton of pressure. He brings game plan specific pressures. How do you, I guess, anticipate what he's going to do and kind of account for all the stuff that he's shown over the course of the year?
Well, and that's the thing is you can anticipate all you want. You just don't know which one he's going to use and win. So you've got to be sound in your protections. For the most part, you're probably not going to free release everybody.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
You're either going to chip your way out, or the running back's going to have to be part of the protection as far as scanning through and deciding where he's going.
Yeah.
So again, as you see something like this happen, and again, what happens is, it looks like the back is free releasing.
Yeah.
But because the quarterback, he times it out well and anticipates very well, he's able to beat the pressure with his eyes. So sometimes when you are free releasing everybody, the quarterback is responsible for at least one person. If that one person blitzes, he now has to get the ball off base of that. So if you look at it, because they're running a cross dog, it looks to me as if the quarterback's the one that's responsible for the blitzer. Because watch, he throws the ball with great anticipation to his receiver down here who's running the out.
Yeah, because, in the first game, you guys had, I think, a pretty solid protection plan overall. A couple times Taylor holds the ball too long. How important is it to get the ball out of his hand and him to anticipate and trust these receivers?
Absolutely, and this is a great example of just trusting and throwing it early. If you watch Jalen Hurts, he delivers his ball just as he's getting out of his break. And because he's done that, and because he recognized the fact that there was a cushion, he can anticipate it, throw it away from the defender to where only his guy can catch it. Because if you watch it, this ball's thrown right to the sideline.
Yeah, and another thing they do here, if you go to the end zone, Coach, is they bring this cross dog, with these two guys crossing inside. Why is this challenging? I don't expect you guys will see this, but why does this challenge their protection? Is it just kind of saying slide side versus man side, or is there something more?
And for the most part, it looks like they are sliding. Because as they're turning, the tackle's now responsible for the widest guy in the protection. He has the three technique, which is stunning outside. The backside guard is now turning down, and he's looking. So as you watch it, each guy has a guy. Well, technically, they could have picked this up completely, but they didn't. And the quarterback sees the blitzer, feels the blitzer, and throws because of it.
Yeah, that's a great job. So, obviously, blitzing is a big part of what they do. But I think another thing Philly did a good job is they did a good job of finding big plays, right? They've found a way to get not only the defense uncomfortable, but like when you get big plays against the New York Giants, it takes them offensively out of what they want to do.
Right.
How important is it to find these big plays against the depleted secondary of the New York Giants?
Well, the big thing is, more so than anything else, is they had success running the ball early in the game.
Philly did.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So because of that, it makes the play action even that more viable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so with this type of play action coming off, because you had success running the ball, it now opens up these types of routes. And what they have is, you basically have man coverage.
Yeah.
And so now with the man coverage, the safety's committed. Okay, he's involved in the coverage. The corner's committed. He's out of the way. And so really you have a one-on-one mismatch to this side.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, this is what happens. Browns are going to win the majority of those.
And this is something that you guys do a lot too. You kind of get in this strike zone. You like to run play action. You've earned the right to run play action. When I see this, I get excited for the Commanders, right? Because this is something you guys do well, and it's something you have the playmakers to get this done.
Absolutely. And again, it really is about what tone have you set. Have you come out and been physical running the football? Because this is what starts it for you more so than anything else.
Right, absolutely. Coach, I'm really excited to watch you guys against the Giants for round 2, and as always, I learned a ton in these conversations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.